What are the cases for Ohio State's 3 Heisman Trophy candidates? We're going to give you those cases after Ohio State moved to 8-0 with a win over Wisconsin. We'll start with Nathan Baird and the case for Chase Young.
The case for Chase Young is easy. He's the best football player in the country right now. If that's what the Heisman Trophy is supposed to be, then that's who it should go to. We had this argument earlier this year, for those of you who listen to the Buckeye Talk podcast. He affects a game in a way that nobody else on this team affects a game. He affects an opponent's game plan, I think, more than anybody on this team affects a game. He's a dominant force in a game like this, where you knew Wisconsin was going to probably run right at him. They were going to do things to try to take him out of the game, and he comes up with his best game of his career, which is actually not that far above what his weekly performance is. He's a dominant player in a way that nobody else on this roster is a dominant player, in my opinion. I think the case is easy. The best football player in the country should win the Heisman.
And quick answer on this, that case hasn't worked for a straight defensive player.
Right.
Do you think there's a chance of it working this year?
Probably not, because I think it's a flawed process. But if there's a player who could make that argument, I think this is the kind of player. I think coming from a defensive end who's getting in there and disrupting defenses consistently, I think that you can make that case even more than a defensive back or some other position.
The case for Jk-dobbins from Stephen Means.
So today he got to go up against the running back who is a Heisman candidate, and
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. He's outplayed him in 2 games now. 2.6 yards per carry is what Jonathan Taylor is averaging when he plays Ohio State, while Jk-dobbins is at 9.1. And the 2 times the Big Ten championship game and today, Dobbins has had 1 bad game this season, and it was the first game of the season where things were kind of fluky and kind of weird. Since then, he's been in 150-yard back every single game, basically, other than Miami of Ohio, because he only played the first half. He's the best running back in the country. He's got to be in the conversation at this point, especially when you outplay the only other running back who was in the conversation, has been in the conversation all year. He's outplayed him twice. And, yeah, best running back in the country, Jk-dobbins. And he still doesn't think he's playing that well, which is getting really annoying at this point.
I will say, to be fair, Jonathan Taylor was always a fraud as a Heisman candidate.
To be fair to who? You're not being fair to Jonathan Taylor.
I'm being fair to our readers and fans of college football because it was never real. Here's the case for Justin Fields. Would Ohio State look this good and be 8-0 and be undefeated and look like the number 1 team in the country if Tate Martell or Matthew Baldwin was their quarterback? I don't think so. Justin Fields pulls all this together. And this case is easy from the standpoint of quarterbacks win it. It's a quarterback award. Quarterback is the most important position. The issue is his stats are not as big as Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence.
Who lost today, by the way?
Yeah, Oklahoma lost. I've written many times over the years, if you're the quarterback at Ohio State, like you are a Heisman candidate by definition, he's making a Troy Smith case right now. Like, Troy Smith did not have numbers through the roof. You knew this was Troy Smith's team. In 2006, there was no doubt about it. He was the engine that made them go. This guy's great. This guy's great. Justin Fields pulls it together and makes them go. That's the case. It's not a numbers case. But it's that to take him off the team, and we could play, you could put in Master Teague. Chase is awesome. Chase is a game changer. If you had Zach Harrison and Jonathan Cooper and Tyreek Smith, I think Ohio State would probably still be undefeated. If you take Justin Fields off this team, you change everything. Him playing at this level changed everything. That's an easy argument for a quarterback to make, but it doesn't mean it's not true. Now, what would we actually do at the moment? Who is their best Heisman candidate?
Chase Young.
I've been on the Chase Young bandwagon since week 2, so Chase.
I think it's Chase too. We'll get into that much more at cleveland.com. Thanks for watching.